Welcome back. World Teachers' Day commemorates the guardians of society who nurture us through various stages of life. This day also focuses on the challenges that educators face. For more on this, we are joined in studio by Sibhekaphi Sibanda, who's a qualified teacher and who also works as a project manager for the Reed Educational Trust. Sibhekaphi, thank you so much for your time and happy World Teachers' Day to you.
Thank you so much.
So you've been a teacher for the last 24 years? So you've experienced being in front of a classroom teaching students, but you also train educators.
Yes, definitely. I've worked in the school and I've also worked with schools where we are supporting teachers, and currently I'm working as a project manager in projects that support teachers. Yes.
Let's get into the challenges that teachers face. What would you say are some of the insights into what South African teachers face on a daily in terms of resource, student behavior, and just their day-to-day challenges?
Definitely, resources are a big challenge. Inadequate resources, especially in township schools and rural schools where our projects work. We've experienced that teachers really struggle in terms of resources. They also struggle with multi-grade teaching, where you have to teach 2 grades, multi-phase teaching, where you are teaching children in 2 phases, discipline issues, you know, because you have those children coming with a lot of issues into the classroom. So it's an uphill task for teachers.
And this uphill task in terms of these challenges, what impact does it then have on their daily jobs, on the job satisfaction as it is, and also on their well-being as humans and parents and teachers themselves?
It definitely has an impact on their mental health, because there are a lot of issues that children bring into the classroom. And also it impacts on their morale and motivation. As you know, especially primary school teachers in foundation phase, they are sitting with the challenge of the literacy crisis. So when the results came out that children at grade 4 cannot read for meaning, it was like it's the teacher's fault. Everyone blames the teacher. So it really impacts their morale, because they really work hard. They work very, very hard. So for them to be blamed for the results, you know, it's disheartening.
And I'm sure it is. I mean, at what point do we understand as communities that to raise a child takes a village, and that's especially within the teaching space, that it doesn't start and end with the teacher, but it needs to continue within the household and the communities? Do we have that understanding as a society?
That's part of our efforts, especially with our flagship project, the Ralitory. That's part of our effort, just getting everyone around the table, because in addition to providing resources, we actually engage with teachers and try to understand the challenges that they have. And we do teacher training, because there is also an issue of knowledge gap, which frustrates teachers and also help them with the challenges that we've just mentioned. And we try to get the community, like the parents, on board, because we work closely with the Department of Education. All our projects are aligned to the Department of Education objectives, and parental support is one of the core pillars. So it's important that everyone comes on board, because it really can't be the teacher's job only. It's difficult to raise a child. It takes a village.
It certainly
really
does.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been a teacher for 24 years, and I can imagine that over that period you've experienced different times of the teaching space. In your own experience, when and where do you think we went wrong in us having, especially like those literacy levels amongst the grade 4s, the disparity getting wider and wider as we go? Where did we lose it? Where did we put the foot off the clutch in terms of our students being in terms of where they are currently?
I think in terms of the challenges that we currently face, we need to continuously evaluate the challenges. I think that's where we missed an opportunity to consistently evaluate the challenges that we face, because most of these gaps are systemic. You know, they are systemic, and they start from foundation phase up to FET phase, when learners are in grade 12. So we need to have these uncomfortable conversations. I think we really didn't have those uncomfortable conversations until it became a crisis, like we're sitting with a crisis right now. But I think as a teacher, I cannot give up. I think there is hope, and organizations like ourselves and all the people in the teaching space, I think if we hold hands, we can really solve the problem. There is hope.
Yeah. We have a minute, so can you just take us through the Rally to Read flagship program? What does it entail, and how can teachers be a part of it in helping their students?
So basically, we work in under-resourced communities, which is the rural schools and the township schools. So we work in partnership. We've got people like you who can come and donate as individuals, or corporates who donate to our program. And then we work with the Department of Education to identify the areas where we can work. They guide us in terms of where the gaps are. And then we work in those schools, providing resources, training teachers, parents, and also working closely with the department.
I'm sure they call you Ma'am Sibanda. Thank you so much for your time. And we certainly do hope that you don't give up, because, I mean, there's so many students who rely on people like yourselves in order for their futures to be shaped. Thank you so much for joining us, and a happy World Teachers Day to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.